Well, hello, sports fans, and welcome back to the Breath of Fresh Air webcast on YouTube. I am Charles Taylor, and we are going to debut something a little bit different today. So, you might have heard me on Facebook promising this new addition we're adding. Well, today we are going to add the Breath of Fresh Air Shorties. So, basically, what the Shorties are is a topic whatever it may be, whether it's Tony Romo or any of the NBA or hockey action that's going on, we're just going to rant about it. I'm going to rant or go on a tangent, and then I'm just going to go ahead and post it and just basically treat it like the webcasts have been being distributed. I can't talk today, so excuse me, sorry. But basically, this is just a shorter version of what we've been doing with the webcast. So we will get back to the webcast in due time. But for now, we just want to try out these shorties and see how that works for us. So I'm going to be the first one to put a shorty out. And then my friend Patrick Brackett, who's been helping me out with the show, he'll start doing his shorties as well. So what I want to go off about today is the reaction from Tony Romo and his appearance being a Dallas Mavericks team member for a day. First of all, it's not that big of a deal. He didn't play in the game. I've heard a lot of people say this is a mockery for the NBA. He shouldn't be allowed to do this, but he didn't play in the game. So it's really not that big of a deal. He got to practice with the team. He got to go through drills with the team. He got to do shoot arounds, and he got introduced as a team captain or team member or whatever it was. And then he was able to say a few words to the Dallas Mavericks fans and tell them just how happy he is about what they were doing. So it's really not that big of a deal on the surface. I've heard a lot of people checking out the Twitter traffic talking about, oh, well, if the Mavericks are going to honor him like this, I don't know what the Cowboys are planning on doing. Why haven't the Cowboys honored him? It's not that big of a deal, people, because the Cowboys aren't playing any games. So when we get into the fall and the Cowboys decide whether or not to honor him, which they will. I mean, we know the relationship, how close that was with Tony Romo and Jerry Jones. So he'll do something, and he'll probably be in the Ring of Honor there at AT&T Stadium at some point in the near future. So it's really not that big of a deal. I just thought it was kind of funny to see the people on Twitter talking about, well, the Cowboys haven't honored them yet. They're not playing right now. So of course they're not going to honor them right now. They're not playing. Ridiculous. But on the big picture, a lot of people were talking about Tony Romo's legacy, how he will be remembered. Will he be remembered as a guy who was a mediocre quarterback? Was he a good quarterback? Was he a great quarterback? Is he a Hall of Famer? Look, this is how I feel about it. He was a good quarterback, a very good quarterback, as a matter of fact. And at times he played elite. The thing is, he did not win any rings. And since he didn't win any rings, he didn't win any Super Bowls, especially in a town that is as crazed about their football as the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex is, that's going to be a little bit of an incomplete legacy. Not everybody can be Roger Staubach and Troy Aikman, but I think Tony Romo came pretty close considering those Cowboys teams he was playing for were garbage for the most part. There were some years like in 2007 where they had the best record. They were one and done, got knocked out by the New York Giants. And a couple of years ago in 2014 where the Dez Bryant catch, no catch, if you want to look at it that way, where they were close to doing something big time in terms of making an NFC Championship game and perhaps going to the Super Bowl. But if Tony Romo was not on the field for a lot of those other mediocre Cowboys teams, then they wouldn't have had the 8-8 records they had as it was. If he wasn't on the team, they would have been 4-12. You guys have heard me make that argument in support of Tony Romo a lot on the webcasts that I have done with Patrick, among other people. But unfortunately, his legacy is going to be one of he was a good quarterback who just didn't have the results to back it up. A lot of people say it's a complicated legacy, but it's really not that complicated. The way it is, you're measured by rings. That's just the finality of it. If you don't have the rings, then you weren't as successful as you maybe could have been. So like I said, he'll be in the Ring of Honor. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but I do think he's a good quarterback. And his story is good. Let's remember, this man was undrafted coming out of, I believe it was Eastern Illinois. Fact check me on that if you want to, but I think it was Eastern Illinois. And he got a shot. He got a shot to get this job as the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys back in 2006, and he ran with it. You have to give the man credit for that. He took advantage of an opportunity, and he was the quarterback for a decade. And then, I guess the same thing he was able to do happened to him. The emergence of Dak Prescott, when he was able to get an opportunity because of Romo's numerous injuries, Prescott took the opportunity and ran with it. You have to give him credit for that as well. So, I mean, I think Tony Romo handled it as well as he could have. And on top of that, he's going to CBS. He's going to be the number one analyst sitting side by side with the great Jim Nantz as CBS's number one crew for NFL coverage. So Tony Romo will be fine. That's a big jump if you think about it. To come on and get that gig, yeah, he'll be fine. I think he's a good winner of life. But talking about being the Dallas Maverick member for a day, if this is what we're going to do for Tony Romo, because, I mean, you would have thought the way he's being celebrated, he was a champion of some sort, but he wasn't. If he's going to be able to be a Dallas Maverick for a day, then when Tom Brady retires from the New England Patriots, I want to see him be a Boston Celtics shooting guard. I want to see him be the starting pitcher in Game 6 or 7 of the World Series for the Boston Red Sox, and I want to see him be the goalie for the Boston Bruins. If Tony Romo can get that for no rings, pretty sure Tom Brady can get that in Boston for winning 5 Super Bowls. So, with that said, that is it for this Breath of Fresh Air Shorty, the first one ever done. So I think this is a big step. I hope everybody checks it out and leave me feedback as to what you think about this topic and others that I will present in the future. Until then, check us out. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. You can go to the Twitter handle for me. Mine's is Chuck T, the All-Star. Patrick, when he starts doing his Breath of Fresh Air Shorties, his Twitter handle is @thefreshestness, I think. Yeah, the freshest. It's crazy, but he's there. And you can also check us out on Facebook as well, because I'll be posting them on those social media sites. So until then, everybody take care. Have a good rest of the week, and I will be back later on in the week with more Shorties. Take care.